Hey guys, it's Mr. Jacon here, back with Automation, the car company Tycoon game, and what you're seeing right now is one of my latest builds called the Kamikaze Mark I. This vehicle is supposed to be a mass-produced flying car built by a few trade school students at the International Jacon School of Liberal Manufacturing. The car's design is based on the first-gen Fiat Panda and the Convair Model 118 for the wings and tail of the vehicle. According to the students who built this car, it has flown for approximately 45 minutes in the air and safely landed back at the state's airport. I guess you can trust these guys to fly this thing across town. The body that I've used to make this flying panda is made by a modder named Norman Vauxhall in his Nilsbrexanda mod file. The link is at the bottom of the description and in the Automation Steam Workshop if you want to download it. It has a lap time of 1 minute 46 seconds 65 milliseconds at the quote-unquote Top Gear test track and 2 minutes 55 seconds 32 milliseconds at the automation track. It has a top speed of 124 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 in 11 seconds flat. This vehicle is powered by a 3.3-liter Boxer 6 engine loosely based on the Jabraiu 3300 that produces 102 horsepower and 184.2 foot-pounds of torque. It has a fuel efficiency rating of 29.1 miles per gallon and weighs 1,820 pounds or 825.6 kilograms. And for the market, since it's a mix of an airplane and a subcompact car built in a communist country, it doesn't compete with anyone in the market. In terms of how I made the Kamikaze, the panel material we made out of fiberglass ladder chassis made out of corrosion-resistant steel. With a front longitudinal hinge replacement, and both the front and rear suspensions use a solid axle coil. For the engine, it's a Boxer 6 engine made out of cast iron with the bore set to 90.5 millimeters and a stroke at 85.5 millimeters, which gets it to exactly at 3,300 cubic centimeters or 3.3 liters, with push rod headers made out of cast iron. And everything for the crank cowl rods and pistons, they are all made out of cast iron crankshaft, cast cowl rods, and cast pistons. For the compression, it is set at a pretty normal 8.5 to 1 and the cam profile is set all the way down to a 0, which is the reason why it is a fairly torquey engine at the torque rating around 1500 RPM, which is usually seen in diesels and everything, but it's a gas engine, not a diesel engine. For the fuel system, we're using a single barrel eco with twin carburetors with a race intake running on super leaded fuel with the fuel mixture set to 14.6. The ignition timing bumped it quite up to a 67 and the RPM limit set to 4700 RPM. For the exhaust, we're running with cast log headers of a dual exhaust with the exhaust lever set to 25.4 millimeters, which gets it to 1 inch exactly. Just ignore this clipping through the little thingy right here. And it's got no catalytic converters because it's running on leaded fuel and no mufflers whatsoever. For the drive type, we're running with a rear-wheel drive setup with an automatic 2-speed, even though I set it to a CVT, which will explain that once I get into BeamNG.drive. And the top speed is set to 134.3 miles per hour, even though it can go up to 124 according to the gearing right here, this graph. For the tires, we're using radial hard long life tires with the tire width set to an even 135 millimeters for the front and back, running on 13-inch steel rims. For the brakes, it's pretty much as basic as it could possibly be at this vehicle, as we're running with a solid disc 1 piston with the size set to 250 millimeters for the front, and the rear is a drum single shoe with the size set to 180 millimeters. For the interior, it's pretty much basic. You got yourselves a 5-seater with a basic interior and a basic AM radio, so you can hear ATC and everything if you got permission to land, permission to change path, and everything else in general. Or here's some of that pimped up propaganda, courtesy of your leader, Mr. Jacon. It's got regular hydraulic power steering with basic 1970s safety standards, and for the suspension, we're using standard springs with gas monotube dampers and passive sway bars running on a normal preset. Despite only 4 problems on here, such as some wheel spin issues, clearance of the engine, wheel spin, and brake fade of this vehicle, let's go to BeamNG.drive and test this vehicle out. So here I am parked at the runway at the bottom map of Los Angeles and taking a look at this vehicle. I mean, for a knockoff, probably badge engineered version of a Fiat Panda, seems okay, even though you got the rear end instead of the words Fiat right here. We got the fake manufacturer called Comrade, along with the car name, the Kamikaze Mark I. And the tail number right here, instead of putting it in the back of the wing or everything, we put it at the front and rear like it's the license plate called No one really gives a f. That probably violates the FAA guidelines for such tail numbers, but taking a look at towards the front of the vehicle, this is pretty interesting because one, these propellers don't move whatsoever. I can't grab out of them except for right here. There goes something. That. Since these propellers aren't moving, just use your imagination and pretend that they are moving. And even take a closer look at the wings here. I put some detail in them, like right here. Like this portion of wing here is supposed to be the flaps of the flying cars, I call it. You got the flaps here that are pointed downwards for like, I think these are like takeoff flaps. You could select these for like takeoff, landing, or whatever flaps. And the left sides of the wing, like this half, would be your ailerons. And also amongst these wings, you got a buttload of navigation lights all over the wings here. Including this here beacon that does light up, since we need that while we're flying. And towards the back of the vehicle here, we got this long piece that is connected to the back of the vehicle with the rudder. You can kind of see the little split right here. You got the rudder here and the elevators right here. So unfortunately, these do not function whatsoever. Whether I'm steering, going reverse, forwards, it don't matter. And also, like I mentioned about this vehicle, since it's got a CVT, I'm gonna go to realistic and just shift. See? It stays on drive no matter what. It's because I found a tutorial video by a user named Buckle who converted an automation vehicle to BeamNG by taking out all the gears and converted it to a CVT. It's a almost 5-minute video. It's a pretty quick and very straightforward tutorial. I recommend you can check them out if you want to convert your automation to BeamNG vehicle into a CVT rather than the old school automatic, manual, sequential, or dual clutch transmissions like you usually roll with any automation BeamNG vehicle. So now, let's put this vehicle to use here by doing some basic performance tests with this vehicle. The first thing we're going to be doing is a 0 to 62 acceleration test. Second, a 62 to 0 brake test. And lastly, a top speed one, which will guarantee we'll reach our top speed of how light this vehicle is and how powerful this engine is. Well, powerful by their country standards of a little over 100 horsepower for this Boxer 6 engine. So now, let's get ready to start our 0 to 62 test now. Got some of that wheel spin, going around 2,500 RPM, and somewhat maintaining, going around 60 right now, at 0 to 62 at 9.27 seconds at 485.81 feet. So, quite like almost 2-second difference when we got an automation to compare to here. So, use the cruise control, set it to 63, and get ready for a brake test. So, get ready to hit the brakes right about now, 62. And brakes, and boom, 62 to 0 in 3.63 seconds of 156.5 feet. Or 50 feet, sorry. If this vehicle would have had ABS, I'm thinking this would be a sub 3-second vehicle, and the distance will reach 62 to 0. It'll be like 110 seconds, maybe 105, maybe. And now for top speed run, let's launch this and go. Launching it was just basically useless. And this 0 to 62 test was a tad worse compared to the first one. So going over 108 miles an hour right now, the RPMs are drastically climbing, nearing its vehicle's top speed, going around 120 right now. RPMs are still climbing, still on its only gear because of its CVT. And now we've achieved over 124 miles an hour, which is its top speed. Red line will take an effect right now. Okay, airspeed 130. The speedometer says 131, and we're out of runway space, so the top speed run is a pass, which is pretty uncommon. And we got the water right here, so slow it down to 8 times slow-mo. Zoom in a little, and hide the UI, and here we go. There's a splash. And did I kill the engine? No, we're hydrolocking, but engine hydrolocked. Oh, god dang it. Well, engine's dead. Alright, so let's take a look at this vehicle while it's falling down the water here. So take a look at the front end, screwed up the propellers pretty good, and even messed up the front of the body too. And even checking out the wings here, some wing damage here. Like the right wings kind of mangled, like push forward, left side, same thing, and we're about to crash into the earth right here. I swear, if we had more damage. Kind of. And even the back, ooh, okay, the back it looks pretty interesting. You got the rudder here almost separated from the tail of the vehicle. That is very strange how this happened when we crashed into the water. And not only that, is this the frame of the vehicle? Put the parking brake. It looks like that's the frame and the suspension of the vehicle. In the exhaust too? What? So the exhaust frame and part of the suspensions are poking out in weird, sharp polygons just stabbing into the earth right now. Just pretty weird, including our tail number. Or tail identification number or whatever. That's also glitched out too. Even the name of the vehicle. That's also mangled up too. So that is pretty interesting of a water landing crash over 120 miles an hour. Okay, let's change this up a little bit. Instead of just going to a time trial right after doing the basic performance test, let's see if we can prove those students that this thing could fly. So I got the vehicle right here, and down at the end of the runway is this here adjustable ramp. I maxed out everything, the length, width, height, everything. I'm going to drive as fast as I can as possible and prove that this thing could fly at Earth gravity going the wrong way on the runway. So let's prove these students that this thing could fly by hitting the gas right now. Also turn on our frickin' landing lights, watch the wheels spin, and our hazards to activate the beacon and some of the other lights here that pretty much says that this vehicle is ready for takeoff, it is airborne, and just to watch out so you don't crash into this here vehicle. This flying vehicle that's about to take off at around 100 miles an hour. Now, and bunch of damn wires at, oh, this is interesting. I'm about to go head on into this barrier right here. 100 times slow-mo, high DUI, get a camera going. Turn off the lights. Just use the hazard lights and turn them off. Screw it. So, here comes the collision. Right into the barrier. This is very interesting and unintentional that I was crashing at the frickin' barrier right here. So, there's our impact. Screw up the front end. Looks like the transmission has been separated right here. 16 times slow-mo. There goes some of the mirrors, some of the parts, and there goes two of the wheels coming right at my face right at this moment. And full time. And the vehicle's engine is still running. How is this even possible? Two, what tire's spinning? That guy. Hit the brakes. Thanks. So unfortunately, that couldn't fly in Earth gravity because of how mangled this vehicle is and how incapable the vehicle is flying. What if I try it in like Pluto or moon gravity? I swear, this vehicle could still go. Nope, let's just reset it. Alright, let's cheat the system. Release the parking brake and then just jadle this. 470 mile an hour wind. And get ready. And release the wind and pause it because the ramp here. I swear. Yep. Reset the ramp. Get back to the vehicle. And slow this down a little bit. Once I get to the edge of the ramp, changes to Pluto gravity. So we're going 123 miles an hour on takeoff speed. Well above takeoff speed. And I'm gonna pause it right now and change this to Pluto gravity, which is 0.58 meters per second squared, the gravity on Pluto. So take a look at the suspension. It's kind of interesting when the suspension just like bounces up once we change gravity settings. So here we go. Bounces up. Here, and we're taking off, so full time. 110 miles an hour. We are airborne. We are rolling. Dual barrel roll dot wave. Damn it, Star Fox. Oh, I'm straightening this out a little, but I'm going at an awkward angle. And we're still rolling. I know you can try to control the aircraft by just steering and then playing the accelerator, but it's kind of impossible. Yep, we're still in a awkward death spiral right now. We're pointing straight up, doing some sort of sun dance, star dance type of ordeal, but it ain't happening, folks. And we're about to Ryanair this in Pluto gravity for the first time ever. So, oh, wait. Oh, almost landed on all four wheels. That'd have been better if we landed on all four wheels, I swear. Go to Earth gravity once we about to land on four wheels. So, highlight Earth gravity, and let's see. Now. There we go, proper Ryanair landing, and we got now two of the wheels now, so it ain't gonna take off ever again. It's unfortunate. What if I try to fly it in the middle of the air? Hold on. So what I'm about to do is just max out the wind speed, 470 miles an hour, just go like, what, on 100 and something miles an hour, and stop the wind, pause, and then just bring this up in the air and F7 at like 4,000 or 5,000 feet right here. Because if it ain't capable of taking off, it should be capable of flying in the middle of the air, in the middle of pretty much almost nowhere. So, unfreeze physics, about 6,000 feet above sea level. I think 971 was the... I'm in Earth gravity, damn it. Alright, do this correctly. Earth to Pluto. Boom, now we're done. Unfreeze physics. And we're still... Oh, god damn it. We're still rolling and still dipping. This is a joke. I mean, looking at the pitch right here, the pitch and roll, we're like all over the place right here. What if I try to fly with the wind? So, 98 mile an hour wind. Can you help me, dude? Or not whatsoever. What if I nearly max it out? 331. Nope. Well, I could basically steer the vehicle by just using the wind right here, so it's... it's just mercilessly flipping over and... Oh my god, we almost went stable right there. Almost went level. So 470 mile an hour winds. Let's tone it down a little. So we're 300 miles an hour at airspeed, even dropping right now. About to cross over downtown, fly over downtown right now. Over 98 mile an hour wind speed, and just casually flying downtown with the freaking vehicle, just flipping around, rolling around mercilessly, not even caring about the passengers from the inside, and almost stable out. So try to steer a little, accelerate. Could I try to get this steady? Almost. Let's cut the wind. No, bring back the wind. And it ain't working. And crash landing. What the hell? I didn't even see the barrier. Okay, that shocked me. I thought the barrier didn't even exist. I thought this was just a flat, what, 4-lane road? Oh, this is a highway. Shoot. I thought this highway didn't even have a center divider. Well, I've been mistaken. Alright, just out of curiosity, what would have been like if this Messerschmitt, the ME-262, would have been like if these missiles, these lock-on missiles, would take down the kamikaze that is currently falling from the sky as of right now. So let's just accelerate right now. I changed up to moon gravity because it's a little bit more stable. Take it off from the frickin' ground right here. Even though we don't need much speed to take off, so go around like 40-something miles an hour. Use some of the takeoff flaps and point straight up. And okay, it's marked down X, or it's V, and I go to the Panda, and we're really falling down. Around 3,000 feet. Where's the missile at? Might have to change cameras, and there is the missile, so pause. Oh god, it's about to strike the frickin' propellers. The non-existent propellers, so hide the UI, and go. Oh my god. Wow, that's an interesting type of collision with the missile and the kamikaze. So go back to regular cam, and full time. And there we go. So let's make things even more interesting. Go back to Earth gravity all of a sudden. So back to 9.81 meters per second, falling at over 180, 190 miles an hour, everything as is. So done. There we go. I swear, how's the Messerschmitt doing? It's doing okay, but we're going down. How about we use up all our missiles? Just this once. Okay, vehicle's hella destroyed. Even more, and I thought even more with those two missiles, but I think all three may have impacted or just one of them. That is pretty much it with this vehicle. Hella mangled. There is the engine right here, and the Messerschmitt just crashed. Is that it? Yes, it is. That's the pilot seat right there. It sucks for him. And everything unrecognizable, completely mangled. You could tell it's a Kamikaze Mark 1, but looking at this, you can't even tell it's lever. Even though the name says it right there. This, well, I don't even know what this is. So right now, let's go to a time trial right here before this crashes down the earth. Let's pick a short one here for the sake of this video. I should probably just freeze physics. No, I can't. So let's go to Grand Valley Speedway. Let's do the Grand Valley East right here, and dead. Doing one lap of this race with the Kamikaze in the noon hours. So take it to the track right now. Well, apparently the track is texturally dead. We got no textures all over the place. Even the, oh crap, everything's dead. Oh man, I might have to do some world editing again, but I'm not going to do that, so find a different map. How about Hirochi Raceway or something? Okay, this is much better than before, so taking a look here, we're a little ways back from the start and finish line, and also we're doing the long race circuit version of Hirochi Raceway, and also it's one lap of this here race. So get ready to start this off here in 3, 2, 1, go. A launch was basically worthless. Worthless, but doable. That's all I could say. And I swear. We're actually drifting in this thing, I swear. This right here, drift. May have been early, and I hit the cone. God damn it. Without that cone, that would have been okay if I drift this vehicle. My first drift with this vehicle. On camera, and being seen by the public. And also with CVTs, people kind of criticize these, especially in the past. Not like the old school where I think DAF made these, and crap. I was about to say when DAF first made the real modern CVT, or pretty much the CVT in general, back in the 50s or something. Even to that day and today, people criticize of having like the motorboat effect once you hit the gas. Like you hit the gas and the RPM was like almost maxed out, and no matter what speed you're at. It's kind of like what it is like right now, but pretend it's at like 4,000, 4,200 RPM. Like it stays like that forever once you slam on the gas pedal, and then slowly climbs up once you reach top speed. Pretty much people were annoyed by that, rather than like the old conventional gears where it's nerp, upshift, nerp, upshift, nerp, like that. Than what I'm getting right here, right now. Well, I did purposely make it a CVT to give it that aircraft effect, like you're pretty much accelerating the throttle and the propellers are going like this, like the sound of the engine right here. But since the propellers are moving, let's pretty much use our imagination, my imagination, everyone's imagination on here. Pretending like this thing is an airplane and a car mixed in. If I were to do that, then do some extensive BeamNG, and I would say BeamNG editing, but some file editing through like Blender or something, which I have barely any experience of that. Probably for my Mark II video or something, the Kamikaze Mark II, try to make this thing flyable, like legitimately flyable, not just flyable under different gravity settings. So our finish time of this time trial, 2 minutes, 16 seconds, 205 milliseconds. Not too bad with this vehicle. Despite having a CVT, I'm still happy with the results. So find a way to end its barriers here. Let's do these barriers up ahead. Use green, looks like tire wall right here. Yeah, green tire wall. So 16 times, get a camera. UI's hidden, and go. Did the propellers clip through the tires and just like shot back at the vehicle? That's interesting, so full time. Engine still runs somehow. Well, let's see if it still goes. Yes, it does. It's like every automation vehicle, you hit the front end of something really, really hard and it still drives. Well, it kind of drives, but without steering. We're basically a frickin' Zamboni right now. We're going slow as a Zamboni and having a turning radius of a Zamboni. Like, take a closer look at it. As you can see, we made a complete circle. And we're still making a complete circle. Another complete circle. That's how it goes with these vehicles. So, that's it with this vehicle. And kind of interesting, I think I made myself a knockoff bow tie with the wings on here of how distorted from the collision. So last part of the video, let's see if this thing can take off here at Brutal Slope 2.0. Alright, so here I am at the ramp portion of Brutal Slope. So skateboard down the top of the hill here and get down to the bottom of the ramp and better 62 to 0 to 62 in 4.37 seconds of 182.21 feet. And we're not over revving. Over 170, 180, we're not over revving. We're still at 4,700 RPM. This has been like an average automatic transmission vehicle, manual. You'll see the red line be like 6,000 RPM and the engine would have been blown up by now. So exit speed up the ramp, 158-ish, a little below 160. So that is pretty weird how it didn't even redline whatsoever. It stayed at 4,700 RPM and stop. Free cam, UI, 60 tap slow-mo crash, almost right on the mark, right before it crashed the ground this wing, so go right now. 16. Watch the FOV, track it a little, reset the FOV, and go. Record cam, full time. That slam, and I think the engine still runs somehow. How is it still capable of running? So hit the gas. Why? Alright, so the aftermath destruction. Take a look at the vehicle here. We got this. Is this my fuel injector or something? It's something. I don't know if it's a fuel injector, part of the engine, or the suspension poking out right here. So we got sharp polygons over the place, which includes the right wing right here, including the propeller mount thingy right here, and some of the propellers too, and even some of the front of the vehicle. The right side of the suspension is screwed up pretty good right here at the front coil springs. And as the beacon still works, surprisingly. That's communist quality right there. Never breaks in their country, but in other countries it does. Back end's also bagel pretty good, and the tail kind of sloped downward pretty awkwardly, especially for the top, but it maintains its shape kind of on the bottom here. It's pretty interesting. Alright, so last part of the video here. Skateboard down the top of this hill to crash at the little wedge thingy here, which is basically a square block where you crash to at a very high speed to get an interesting wedge-looking effect of your vehicle once you crash into it at a very, very high speed. And we're still not over-revving with the CVT transmission of the vehicle, and I'm thinking at the speed we're going to crash at, I'm thinking around 220 maybe. Let's see, 210 right now, and slow it down right here. Slow down 100 times, so 219 right now, and I think I was right all along. So 220, maybe the speed where we crash into the wall here. So it's 16 it to 100. Okay, get ready. Zoom in a little, reset the FPV to just a tad, and here we go. Smashing on in. Really smashing on in pretty good. And wow. So full time. And it didn't shoot back like the usual, so that's pretty good. So now let's take a look at the aftermath of destruction, and that's where we'll end off our video. So drop it here at f7 at a pretty high angle, or high altitude I meant. So flip this up just a tad, so bring it down here, and free cam again, and just like that, we have compacted this down quite a bit here. Right now, the vehicle is staring at vehicular error right now. It is still suffering as of right now. It's having a mini seizure, not a big time, well, kind of see some of the seizure effects with the vehicle as of right now, as you can see. Shake it pretty violently, as you can see by the node graph and what, yeah, according to the node graph right here, the node grabber. So having a seizure, compacted down the both wings on here, the left and right wings here, even the back end. Oh, we got rid of the back end. Wow, we got rid of the back end. That's very surprising. And we also got rid of some of the roof racks here, which is basically the roof trim of the real-life Fiat Panda, and the license plate holders, and this black plastic piece, which I don't know what it is. It's like a vent or something that goes right here, the real-life Panda. Like when I respawn it, it's this thing right here, which I don't know what that is. So that'll do it with automation in BeamNG.drive with the Kamikaze Mark 1. It was disappointing that the vehicle can't fly on Earth gravity, but at least it can on different gravity settings like Pluto and Mars, or the moon I meant. Because of that, the Communist Party leader, Mr. Jacon, might have a word with those students. Whether he'll give them another chance to build a better one, which requires some file editing and Blender and everything, or they'll sentence them for humiliating the entire country. I hope he gives them another chance for all the time and work going into this car despite not being able to fly. It's probably better off to decommission this to an ordinary road vehicle and forget all about this mess. So this has been Mr. Jacon 000. I'll see you in the next video.